Hi everyone. So today we're talking about posture myths and tips. And one of the most common things that we hear is that to have good posture, we have to pinch our shoulder blades back. And that's a great concept, it's a great intention, but it's not always the best idea. So let's quickly talk about why and what can we do differently. When we pinch our shoulder blades back, a couple of things happen. Number one, when we pinch our shoulder blades back, we're simply bringing our center of balance posteriorly behind us. So when we pinch our shoulder blades back, our center of balance is now falling behind our glutes and behind our heels. So we effectively shut off our glutes and we shut off our abdominals from helping to support our spine and our balance. And speaking of balance, when we bring our center of balance posteriorly with more weight down through our heels, if we were to hold it back and then walk, it's very rigid and not so great. So that's one thing, not so great from a balance perspective. Number two, when we pinch our shoulder blades back, we are only increasing the lumbar lordosis in our spine. Now, we normally want a bit of lumbar lordosis, but if we pinch our shoulder blades back, we're only increasing it, and that does a couple of things. Number one, it can increase the compression in our lumbar spine, something we definitely don't want to do. But then also by pinching back, our ribs flare more forward. And what does that do other than not look great from a flared rib position? It keeps our breathing, it keeps our respiration in this constant position of inspiration, where not inspiration in the good way where we feel inspired, but inspiration where our brain, our body feels it constantly has to take in more air because it is managing the stress all around it and just taking in more air. We don't want that now. There's enough stress going on in this world that we don't need our ribs to be in this constant inspiration position, because what it does by breathing in too much, it overstimulates our sympathetic nervous system and can increase anxiety, it can fatigue us, it can deplete us, and all those things we don't want right now. We want some grounding, some soothing, some stability. We want to feel inspired in a good way, but also collected and connected both to ourselves, our body, our mind, our creativity, all that kind of stuff. So by pinching our shoulder blades back, it increases not only the lumbar lordosis, possibly lumbar compression in a bad way, but also flares our ribs more forward and then overstimulates our sympathetic nervous system. So we don't want to do that. Number three, by pinching our shoulder blades back, even though our intention is really, really great, what it can do, especially for the person with scoliosis, it only serves to increase the concavity and the asymmetry in their spine. One of the pathomechanics of the scoliosis is physiological spinal extension. A scoliosis is more than the spine just going to the right and to the left. It's a three-dimensional asymmetry, and one of the originating factors is physiological spinal extension. So if we are pinching our shoulder blades back, it only serves to increase the concavity on one side, and if we happen to have one rib that's sticking out in the front, it makes that rib stick out even more, and then it can promote more rotation and asymmetry of the scoliosis. So what's the spine to do? One of the best things that we can do for good posture instead of pinching our shoulder blades back is observe this neutral pelvis. So being mindful that our pelvis is not in this anterior position, that it's not in this posterior position, but it's neutral. And then we can lift the ribs up out of the waist and really maximize the space between our ribs and the pelvis. And maintaining that balanced sagittal plane position, then imagine, I'm sure so many of you have heard this before, imagine a string attached to the crown of the head, and that string is lengthening you up without flaring your ribs forward, keeping that neutral spine position, just lengthening you up, maintaining that elongation, that best spinal decompression that we can, and having good core stability. And then walking, moving, doing our exercises from that optimally balanced posture, decompressed, elongated. You can still breathe, that's really important. Just make sure you're breathing from your diaphragm and not from your upper traps. And we'll talk about that another day. Until next time, See you soon.